Howdy y'all, and welcome to episode 26 of my Let's Play series, and I am Ragaras. Do y'all see anything different over here? Do you see what I'm seeing right now? It's those Dern Kids. It's those Dern Kids. I uploaded my video yesterday. I'm just sitting here, setting it up to YouTube, and all of a sudden my power blinks out. Just for a second, just boom boom, on and off. And I'm like, ah, crap. And come back on. Video, of course, gets screwed up. It didn't upload, so I got to start that all over. And it was almost done. And those who you know, have uploaded a long video, you know, they take a while to get up to the YouTube. And then my son comes out and says, "Oh man, I didn't shut off your computer, did you?" And yeah, the lights in our bathroom weren't working, so he went and just started flipping breakers without reading what's labeled on them. And so he shut my power off. So I come back on, and you know, the game's acting a little funny, and I look at my console, and it's nothing but solid red of zombies spawning in wrong spot, skeletons spawning in wrong spot. So I kind of fly up in the air because I had a feeling this happened, and sure as shooting, this chunk that I'm standing on right now is corrupted. It's not even here. It's just a great big hole in the ground with like a couple of spiders floating on it. I'm like, man. So I go and I get MC Edit. For those of you that don't know what MC Edit is, it's kind of a map or world editing program. Comes in real handy, especially with corrupted worlds, or you know, if your characters, you just can't load in because your character is in a bad spot. You can move your character. You can set spawn point for the map. There's a bunch of different things you can do, and one of the things it's good for is when you get a corrupted chunk like this one was, you can delete the chunk and it will respawn when you start the game again. The chunk will respawn. And that's what this thing did. But this is the first time I've ever seen this. I'm in a snow forest right here. Snow forest. Birch forest. Snow forest. Birch forest. Snow forest. Birch forest. Yeah. All this one chunk is a snow forest. So its elevation is a little bit higher, and it's got frickin' snow in it. Yeah, I haven't looked at MC Edit enough to know whether or not I can alter the biomes or not. I hope you can, because I really don't want this giant square mountain right in the middle of right here. I mean, I guess it's not too noticeable from over here, but I actually had to delete the chunk, go in there and delete the chunk twice, because the first time I did it, when I logged back on, I had probably 10,000, I could barely move, I had like 10,000 zombies spilling out from right around this thing. I mean, they were everywhere. I mean, you couldn't even see this thing, there were so many zombies right here. So I had to go back in, delete it again, and when I came back on, it worked fine. So, yeah. Nothing else got screwed up, though, thankfully. I was hoping I was not going to have to use my backup because I didn't have a lot of the work that I had done on there. So, alright, well, we're going to take a real quick cut as I get some things together, and then we're going to go down and work back on our power room a little bit more. So I'll be back in just a minute when I have those items together. And we are back down in the engine room. So after the other episode, once this one got all the way up to its full efficiency, which is 1,000 degrees, I went ahead and dismantled the one at the main base and moved it over here. And we set up a tesseract, and it is now powering all the, this particular one is now powering everything over at the main base. It's got 16 engines on there, each doing 8 MJs, so we're about at 124 total MJs output right there. Of course, the Tesseract only, I think, is capable of about 100, so, or 100 per, something like that. The other one was moved over here. We went ahead and added the fuel up to this one, and it is also all the way up now. But we don't have any quarries running or anything, so we don't have this one. The engine's turned on, but it is at full power, so just flipping these switches would turn all those on. And it has its own Tesseract set up. And this is kind of the setup that I'm using now for these, is we've got the Tesseract right at the bottom. I found that they do pump directly in there. You don't need any pipes. And that goes also for the water. It also will pump directly into the engine, or I mean the boiler, and it doesn't need this pipe right here. So this really isn't necessary. You can just put it directly underneath there and then cover it up. So it's nice and neat like that. And we'll go ahead and we'll build the rest of the boiler, and we'll start pumping fuel into it and determine whether one liquid Tesseract is capable of handling all three. If not, what we'll have to do is add another valve to this and have it pump in there. But since these are both now at their best efficiency, their full efficiency, optimum efficiency, whatever you want to say, they should be good to go. Let's get these in here. Come on. Alrighty. And we won't hook the engines up to this one just quite yet. Alright, so that is our third boiler right here. So we've already got it set up to receive only. And we don't have to worry about the water getting in the way. It's nice and buried underneath there. And we're just going to let this get full of water before we turn it on, so we don't have any problems there. This has been running for a little while. It's about half full now. Yeah, about half full. So that's that's probably double the fuel that we had before. The other, the Railcraft tank that we had over there was only about 2 million. So we're double the fuel that we did have in the other location, or before in the previous tank. If this Tesseract is not capable of outputting enough fuel to 3 of these things, the only thing we'll need to do is we'll slap another valve right in there, and then we'll add another Tesseract, liquid Tesseract on a different frequency, and add it to there. I also changed the structure pipe layout going over to the bees. You can see I raised it up a little bit. That's just so I can walk over here and access this stuff. Before it was right at this level, and I couldn't get through here. So what I did is I just raised them. These are real cheap to make. These are just cobblestone pipes with I think it's gravel in a crafting table, and it makes these. So it's a real cheap recipe, and it's handy to move around your red wire signal to your Buildcraft gates. That's one way to do that. Still doing pretty good. I spent some time last night getting some more proven frames from the villagers out there. The bees are kicking. You can see that it's currently shut off. The red wire signal is not on because this gate is full. Or I mean, this chest is full. So these bees are, even though they're producing combs in here, they're not being sent out to this chest because this chest is full. Squeezer's doing pretty good. This thing's filling up. I did add this. I had a bunch of different, or not a bunch of different, a lot of extra propolis left. From when I took this apart, that was in the squeezer over there. We had a bunch of that stuff, so I added a squeezer here, and I was going to pump it in, but I found this squeezer actually kind of screws up the whole system because it two of these pumping oil in at the same time, and this can't handle that much. These three just are not handling the amount of oil from one. Two just slows this one down so much that this gets all backlogged over here. So I just shut this one off. It's not running right now. So let's check on our water. Okay, we're almost up. As soon as that gets up, we will be ready to go. Moving this one from the main base opened up a whole big area that maybe we can do something with applied energetics and further along our whole auto system. Maybe we can add some smelting and maceration in there since it's not too far away from the IC2 power. Maybe we can move something in that location that can handle all incoming ore processing. Because right now I store a lot of the ores in just the ore form until I need them. That was more handy than the bars when I was using the barrel system. But now it's not really needed. I mean, I can store all that as in the bar form, so I may start processing all that and looking at a way to do that with the ME system. Okay, so we're about good. It's almost topped off. So we're going to go ahead and activate this, and we're going to use the big fuel. I think that's the right one. Yep, we're going to activate that. And this should start filling up. And let's see what this does to our other fuels. Is it still keeping up? We're going to want to watch this for just a little bit, see how this acts. So I'm going to cut it for just a few while I kind of watch these guys to make sure that the fuel levels all maintain. I don't want one draining out because it's filling this one up. These, again, are the max efficiency, so they should not be using too much fuel. So I'm just going to let it sit for a while and work, and then we'll come back and make sure everything's functioning. And I'm probably going to go put the engines together. I need to make another 16 engines for this one, and another energy tesseract. So after the cut, we'll be back and we'll take a look at it. All right, we're just finishing up. Well, not finishing up, just making a power tesseract to finish up the third high pressure boiler over there. I need a couple of parts from here. So I've already got these set in. So I need one of those, and I need a conductance coil. So I need one of those. Yeah, this thing is very, very handy. And we're going to need, I think, one of those, a couple of these, and a couple of these. Should do. And we want an energy tesseract. Alright, so that gives us why did I make that? Don't know. So used to making the thermal expansion machines, and they all take that, so must be why I made that one. So something that I've been kicking around, and I think that I want to do is try to do a live stream. Not every day or anything like that, but maybe like on the weekends. Okay, so we've got this, we'll talk more about that, but we've got our 16 engines placed on here, and as far as I can tell, the fuel for each of these is fine. And again, these are max efficiency, but this one is using a lot more fuel than those are. And it's still, even with the 3 engines on there, we're still at the plus. I mean, we're still gaining fuel. The real test is going to be when all of these are up and running and we turn the frames off to these Bs. Are they still going to be able to produce enough without frames? And then it comes down to, because I don't want to have to keep trying to get proven frames from those villagers, because even though I do get a lot of beekeepers, you know, the proven frames aren't every time with those guys unless you go through and get all their other crap. And one, I think you got to get I think you got to give them like wheat or something for a comb that I don't really want, and the other one is for the apiaries, which I don't need or want, and I don't want to waste materials just to get things that I don't want. So our options would be, if these 3 bees, once these are all max efficiency, if they're not able to keep up, some of the options that we have are, one is to add more. You know, and I've left enough room here. I can add another alveary here and see if just because it's no problem making more of these bees. I've got enough drones that I could easily turn any other queen that I have into a distilled. Or, excuse me, lunch coming back up. Or we could set up a system to auto create the impregnated frames. Now, we won't get the same productivity that we're getting from the proven frames, because the proven frames you're going to get the highest. Or we can just use the impregnated frames, which will still do pretty good. They'll be close, but they won't be as good. But we could always set up an automated system to make those and fill that chest. That shouldn't be too hard, and it might even be a neat project to work on. Maybe. So we've completed our tesseract, and to go along with the kind of the same theme that I'm going with the others, we're just going to slap it right here in the corner, and we're going to give it a new one. We're going to put this at 102. And we're going to call it, we'll just call it 3. We're going to be real creative here. And we're going to set that frequency. So now we have 1 on 100, 2 on 101, and I did not save 10. I hate when I do that. And we'll call that one 3 again, and then we'll save that frequency. So that one's on 3, this one's on 2, and that one is on 1. Now, like I said, this one currently is fueling everything at the main base. These 2 will be for anything extra that we want to do, quarries or any other off-site farm or whatever we may do. We'll have this. Now, each one of these is, I've only put 16 engines on each of these. They'll handle about 2 more each, but it does start to kind of lower your steam a little bit more often. Let me show this. Let me get this one. You can see how this one pretty much stays real close to max steam. You add 2 more engines on here, it gets a little bit lower, and I don't know. I always get a little worried when it's not almost at max. So I like to leave about 16 engines per boiler on here, and that's, you know, that's 124 MJ per boiler here. That's, you know, so that's what 60. No, or, you know, hey, I can't add. I would need a calculator for that. But that's pretty good. I mean, it's not an insane amount. I know some people probably thinking that's an insane amount, but it's not really. If you do ever watch live streams, I believe he's a YouTuber also. His name's, I think it's Cyanide Epic. He's big on Twitch. He's on Twitch like every day, Monday through Friday. He streams on the weekends with his wife. And he's doing a project where he has got just, I think it's like 10 of the max size Zycraft tanks full of lava, and then he's making like 1,000 magmatic engines, and he's pumping all that lava into those magmatic engines. He's got these huge magmatic engine arrays. You know, each magmatic engine, of course, is popping out 4 MJs each. So he's looking to do over 5,000 MJs a tick with this array. Now, someone asked, what is that for? And he said, like, I mean, his answer, and it's a good answer for Minecraft, is, well, because I can. Why not? If you're gonna go big, and I can understand that. Now, this isn't really for that. This is just so I don't ever have to worry about power. I don't have to worry about my quarry not running at max speed because I'm doing something else at that location. I will have all this extra power now. Then I don't have to worry about it. Of course, that the number one, it's going to run my main base. I still have upstairs the biofuel powering the farm here. This biofuel setup here. If you look on my mini map, just to the above me on the mini map there, you'll see that big square. That is just a single layer sugar cane, 21 by 21. And it's pumping out the sugar cane to this, and it's set up very similarly. It's saying that when its resources are below 25%, it sends out the red wire signal, and then it activates this autarkic gate here, and it pulls it down in. So it works the same way. We've got 3 stills here instead of 3 refineries, and it's filling up a smaller tank. It's only at 2 million. It's not the 8 million of that tank downstairs, but this is a pretty sizable setup. I could probably do run a 2 or another high pressure boiler just off of this, to be honest. And the good thing about the amount of fuel that this one burns, I don't have to worry about the sugarcane too much. I mean, this has been running a long time, and it's only at 244. Because when I do need sugarcane, I kind of come over here. I haven't set up the limiter like at the other sugarcane field because this is high pressure. It uses a little bit more, and I don't have to worry about it so much. It's going to be a long time before this one gets to the point of filling up. And whenever I need paper or whatever, I come over here also too, and that pulls some out. And of course, this is our compost here. That's the one downside to the biofuel situation. You can't really. I do have it set up to start automating this part right here, and may show that in a later episode or something. Maybe it's a surprise. It's in a new area that y'all haven't seen on camera yet. Something I've been secretly working on. It's strategery, hiding it. But like I was saying, something that I want to do, maybe get a little more contact with everybody out there, a little more personal contact, is start doing some streams. Maybe on the weekends, maybe one night during the week or something, later in the afternoon when everybody's home from work and relaxing. But I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Do I want to... Because my options are that I could just kind of do what I'm doing like right now, but instead of a lot of the cuts that I do on here where I go and I do something where I don't record it just because it's kind of boring watching me run around and craft, especially how often I forget things and I got to run back and forth. That would all be live. You could watch all that, and we could interact, kind of talk that way. Or another option that I've mentioned in a previous video is I could do the ultimate pack. I do have a world kind of set up where I've started to mess around a little bit with the ultimate pack. Not too much. And that mod, of course, would be a learning experience for all of us because there's so many different mods in there I have not used. Because I've never used Greg Tech or some of the other shoot, I can't remember the name of it now. There's a few mods in there that I've never used and never seen before that I kind of like to play around with. So please let me know. What do you think? Would anybody be interested in that? I mean, is it worth bothering with? Of course, that may be a whole different audience too. That may not be something that the YouTube audience is interested in. I don't know how often some of y'all watch the live streams. Some of them I really enjoy. Some of the big guys of live streaming are pretty unknown in the YouTube community because it doesn't seem like they do both. I think Cyanide Epic does do it does do YouTube also, though I've never really ever watched them. I've got so many subscriptions and stuff that I watch every day that it's he's not on that list, but he's definitely one of the streamers that I watch often and follow. So, well, there we go. I think I'm going to leave it at 3 for now. I don't think I'm going to do a 4th one. It looks like it's going to handle 3 really, really well. The fuel looks like it's handling it really, really well. Again, the test will be once I get this filled all the way up, and by then, of course, this boiler will be at max efficiency also. Once I get that all the way filled up, I'm going to stop the frames on these bees and see if they're able to keep up with that fuel supply. If they're not able to keep up with the fuel supply at that point, then I'll have to make a decision on whether to add additional bee alvearies over here, or to set up a system to auto make the impregnated frames and then put them in or send them over here. Alrighty, well that's it. I appreciate you coming by. I know this was a little bit slower episode than usual. I had actually planned to do some other stuff, but my time kind of got limited just because of the those Dern Kids and the issues with trying to learn how to get this to work right. Because the last time this happened to me in this world, I think it did more harm than good when I fixed it, and I think it's because I was using an older version of MC Edit, and this time I just deleted that whole what I had and then went and downloaded the newest version, and other than the first time with all the zombies, and then the second time with the biome, which just really still bothers me. I'm probably gonna go look at it. Oh, see, that drives me nuts. I got a snow mountain right in the middle of my forest. It's Dern Kids, man. Dern Kids. Get out of my yard. That just irritates me. That is definitely the Minecraft OCD-ness coming out, because I know that it shouldn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't really affect anything, but just that great big square thing sitting right there. I'm gonna have to do something with it. Maybe, either completely level it or at least I don't know, knock some naturalness into it a little bit. Maybe kind of round it off. I don't know, make it a hill, but it's gonna be a snow hill right in the middle of nowhere. Them Dern Kids. Alright, well, I appreciate everybody coming by, and again, I apologize for a little bit of a slower episode. It just took a lot more of my time away from me trying to fix everything from that crash than I would have liked it to. And the next episode, we're definitely going to return back to the new area and get started over there. I had mentioned earlier I wanted to move the mining area out so that we can start getting some of the new quartz, because I would kind of like to see how easy or hard it is for starting out getting... See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want these darn combs. How hard it is starting out to get going with applied energetics. I mean, just how difficult it would be. And and we won't be able to do that until I get some quartz. So until next episode, don't forget to give me a like and or subscribe. Have a good one, and I will see y'all later.